I went to Mary Star Elementary and high school, and I tease people and I show them my hand and I say, I spent 12 years on the cross. Well, nobody could crack knuckles better than a Catholic nun. But you know, that's kind of a little far-fetched. Back then we had corporal punishment, and we had our principal at the time was Sister Eleanor. And she's very famous at Mary Star Elementary. For one time, the student came in and brought a Hot Wheel track to school. Well, she confiscated that, and she used one of those tracks to kind of, you held out your hand and you got a little tap on the hand if you were acting up. And thank goodness it only happened at school, because if my mom and dad found out, I'd get it twice as bad when I got home. The best part of going to elementary school there at Mary Star is the lifelong friendships I made. I mean, my closest friends I met in first grade, went to first to 12th grade with them. We have Steve Hooker, Tony Gioiello, Anthony DiBernardo, Mark Trutanich, Jim Costa. I could go on, I'm gonna leave people out. Steve Arzeman, John Gannon. I could go on for a long, long time, but we made friendship on that blacktop inside Mary Star of the Sea Elementary and High School. When I graduated elementary school in 1975, I went on right across the yard to Mary Star of the Sea High School. Little two-story building, 525 kids there. And one of the best experiences in high school that I had at Mary Star, and this is still true today, at Mary Star you could play every sport there. I mean, you typically didn't get cut because it was a small school, so you got to play anything you wanted to do, and you could participate there at Mary Star. But what I really enjoyed playing was football. I played football and baseball, but football was really the sport to play there at Mary Star. We had probably one of the best high school football coaches ever. Mr. Joe Radisich was my football coach. He came there in '74, fall of '74. I entered high school in '75 and played freshman football for Nick Lusick and another guy named Randy Logan, who played for the Miami Dolphins prior than that. And it was a good time being a freshman. We got picked on, talk about hazing and things like that. Yeah, that happened back then. That's how it was back when I went to school. We worked hard, we played hard. My freshman and sophomore year, I got to play on the varsity on occasion. And our varsity squad that year finally made it to the playoffs. We had an all-CIF running back named Chris McClure on that team. And we won our first playoff game and then lost our second one. But that was a tremendous accomplishment, going into the playoffs as a freelance school. We weren't in the league yet. So coming to my junior year, we entered the Santa Fe League, and boy, did we have a football team that year. We had a guy named Tim Reitman, and I got to talk about Tim Reitman. When he graduated from Mary Star of the Sea High School, he was recruited by several colleges, and he chose UCLA. And he was All-American tight end at UCLA. And after he graduated from UCLA, he was drafted by the Chicago Bears and also the USFL team, I think the Chicago Blitz at the time, where he played for a season or two, then eventually went back to the Bears. And Tim was lucky enough to play in what I'm going to say, argumentally, the best NFL team ever, the 1985 Chicago Bears. And Tim got to play on that team. He was the starting tight end there, and real proud of him. Yeah, he came from a little high school, Mary Star of the Sea High School, and made it to the NFL, All-American at UCLA. Anyway, that junior year, we dominated all the teams. We won the Santa Fe League. We shut out a bunch of schools that year. And you're talking about a high school of 500, probably just over 200 boys. I remember when we went to the playoffs, we played Lawndale High School at Daniels Field. At that time, Daniels Field got a lot of use, soccer use, football use. And there was nothing left in that high school, on that field, except dirt. And we called it our own little rock pit. And when we invited teams down there, they were intimidated. And I'll tell you what, we were an intimidating team. We would jump up and down, and we'd kind of point at teams before they come in to play us. And You know, we meant in business. Anyway, we ended up shutting out Lawndale High School 3-0, and then the following week, we probably played one of the best games of Mary Star of the Sea football's ever seen. We played El Dorado High School, the Golden Hawks, down at El Dorado High, and that school probably had 3,000 kids. I remember when we got bused down there, they had a band, they had stands, their beautiful stadium, all grass, and you know, we're a bunch of tough kids from Pedro. A bunch of itches, sitches, and vitches, man. You know, all us old tough Croatians and our tough Croatian coach. And I'll never forget this. When we came out to take the field that night, we were running out there, and all of a sudden one of our assistant coaches, Bob Bradarich, had us stop. Stop here, because he saw the other team coming out. And we lined up for them, and as they passed us, we were pointing at them, you know, telling them, we're gonna beat your butt tonight. And the funniest thing happened, one of their, you know, they were pointing back at us too, and we're getting pumped up for the game. And the funniest thing happened is one of their players fell down and tripped, which caused the next player to trip, which caused the next player to trip. And about 10 of their players tripped, and we all gathered around and started pointing at them. And it was just a free-for-all. I think the referees had to come and break us up after. But as the game started, we basically beat them. I mean, I think it was something like 28-7 or something like that. It was a big accomplishment for a little school in San Pedro that just started their football program a few years later. I mean, a few years before that. So after we beat El Dorado High, the following week we played Norwalk High, who beat us, and they became the eventual champions. You know, that 77 team at Mary Star High School was one of the greatest football teams here in San Pedro. Really proud of being part of that.